Do you want to end now, or do you want to discuss the miracles?
So what I want, because obviously we're all here to discuss what is the truth. We're not here to arrogantly. So I'd like Sam to discuss the point about the miracles, and then I can end.
Okay.
This goes back to what I was saying earlier, that the Quran claims that explains everything in detail. You keep going to sources that are 100 to 200 years after the time Muhammad supposedly died. And even when I go to those sources, when they contradict what you believe about Muhammad, you'll either question them and say it's not true, it's weak. So it's not really even the sources that you believe. But now coming back to the issue, I am fully aware that your sources that came over 100 years after the death of Muhammad attribute miracles to Muhammad. But this is, again, proof that your sources are corrupt unless you believe the Quran is corrupt. Because a Muslim will give priority to the Quran. So if there's a source that contradicts the Quran, the Muslim will say that source is wrong. I'm now going to give you just a few verses where the Quran repeatedly says, no miracles given to Muhammad. He was not sent with any signs. He's just a warner. Signs are with Allah, but Allah did not give him any signs. Here, let me just give you several of many. Chapter 13, verse 27 of the Quran. The unbelievers say, why has a sign not been sent down upon him from his Lord? So they want a miracle. Hey, how come there's no miracles? What is the answer? He doesn't say, I've shown you many miracles. I split the moon. Water came out of my fingertips. He didn't say any of that. Here's what he says. Say, Allah leads astray whomever he wills, and he guides to whom he wants that are penitent, repentant. So that's this first answer. Here's another one. Chapter 11, verse 12 of the Quran. Then it may be that you will give up a part of what is revealed to you, and your breast will become straightened by it, because they say, why has not a treasure been sent down upon him, or an angel come with him? You are only a warner, and Allah's custodian over all things. That's all you are. You're a warner. You don't bring angels or miracles. None of that. How about chapter 17, verse 59? Not prevented us. Nothing stopped us from sending down signs, but the ancients, those before you, cried lies to them. And we brought Thamud, the she-camel, visible, but they did it wrong. And we do not send the signs except to frighten. So what's the excuse? What's the point of giving you miracles? We gave miracles to the prophets before, and they rejected them. So you're going to reject them too. So tough luck, no miracles. And if you're still not convinced, here, chapter 28, verse 48. Now they're asking him, can you give us a sign like Moses? Yet when the truth came to them from ourselves, they said, why has not been given the like of what Moses was given? Wait, you're saying you're a prophet, like the prophets before you? How come Allah didn't give you a sign like he gave Moses? But did they not disbelieve also what Moses was given before? They said, a pair of sorcerers mutually supporting each other. They said, we disbelieve in both. So repeatedly, no signs are given to you, because the signs that were given to the prophets before you, they rejected them. So what's the point? They're going to reject you too. And ironically, you quoted chapter 29, verse 49 of the Quran, but you didn't quote all of it, because according to the Quran, the only miracle Allah gave Muhammad is the Quran, and that's all he needed. He didn't need anything else. Here you go. They say, this is chapter 29, 49 to 50, 48 to 50, but I'm going to skip to 50 and 51. They say, why have signs not been sent down upon him from his Lord? The signs are only with Allah. I am only a plain warner. That's all I am. What? Is this not sufficient for them, that we sent down upon you a book that is recited to them? So according to the Quran, Allah could send signs. He didn't. I'm just a warner. And this book is sufficient sign. But my friend, alhamdulillah, I hope you understand the point. If you say he did miracles besides the Quran, you again prove the Quran is a lie, because the Quran says you don't need any other miracles. This Quran is all you need, and it's all you get. But if you tell me he did more signs, that means the Quran is a lie, because the Quran wasn't all he needed. He needed other signs. So what's the Quran talking about?
The thoughts here, Abdullah, is that if we're examining miracles, right? If you're saying someone performed a miracle, you generally want as early sources as possible. But our earliest source here is the Quran, and the Quran repeatedly says that Muhammad didn't perform miracles. His only miracle is the Quran, and yet we go to much later sources that come from more than a century afterwards, and then we start finding these miracle stories. And so, if we're thinking to ourselves, look, what was Muhammad really going around performing miracles? Because these sources, Muslims themselves tell us you can't really trust these sources too much. And whenever it's inconvenient for them, they tell us, nope, that was made up. But we're supposed to take these miracle claims seriously when these miracle claims contradict the earliest source, which is the Quran. So what we find when we look at the Quran is over and over and over again, the unbelievers are challenging Muhammad. Why aren't you performing any miracles? Why are you not performing any miracles? How come you're the one who doesn't perform miracles? And then Allah is constantly defending Muhammad. Well, the reason he's not performing miracles is this. The reason he doesn't perform miracles is that, which wouldn't make sense if Muhammad's going around performing miracles. If Muhammad were going around performing miracles, the response would be, what are you talking about, you stubborn rebels? He's performing miracles all the time. He's shooting water out of his fingers. He's making milk. He's making food. What's wrong with you? He split the moon. Come on, are you guys blind, right? That would be the response. And yet, that's not what the Quran says. The Quran repeatedly makes excuses. But we know that even during the time of Muhammad, he's repeatedly being challenged for miracles. And this didn't stop after Muhammad's death. Instead, the Muslims go out and they're constantly trying to convince Jews and Christians and everyone else, Muhammad is a prophet. And the first question Jews and Christians are asking is, what miracles did he perform? And at first, they obviously would have given the explanation of the Quran. Well, he couldn't have given miracles because earlier generations didn't believe miracles, therefore none for you. But that didn't work out very well. Saying, hey, look at our lovely Arabic calligraphy just wasn't a persuasive argument to Jews and Christians. And so all of a sudden, we start finding all of these miracle stories in the Muslim sources in an atmosphere when people are inventing and fabricating stories about Muhammad left and right. At the end of the day, they're just not stories that we can take very, very seriously.